Hi everyone. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another YouTube channel, Sisterly Conversations.
And the question is, and this is coming from my mom, our mom, sorry. Should I return to school after 50? And if yes, what are some challenges that I can face? So, what I would say is, age is just a number, right? And you have to know if you have the willpower or not at 50 to go back to school. I know 50 is a big number. People say that's like half in, half out in that aspect. I don't really believe in. I believe that once you are still living, there are things to be learned. What I would say is that and it's for every single university or college student. You will have challenges in school. You will either have challenges with group work, you'll have challenges with professors, you'll have problems with assignments, everything. So I believe that age is a number, and if you want to go back to school at 80, go for it. And that is my take on it because at the end of the day, people always say, oh, but you know, my head hard. I know 19-year-olds that head hard, I know 30-year-olds that head hard, and I know 40-year-olds that head hard. You're not the only one. It does not matter the age. The fact that you actually got into university, the school sees that there's something in you, and that you can actually do the course or whatever. So to that question, go for it, and the challenges are the same for every single age group.
That's all you want to say? Because you just said talk enough.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
Anyway, uh, I believe that, as Tony said, that age is just a number and you could go back to school at any age. There are many reasons why people go back to school. Also, some of them are, maybe they had children from an early age, or they got married early and they went into the workforce early, and then they've always had a specific topic or subject or course that they wanted to study,
Right.
and they just want to go back and do it. Some of it might be because they want a career advancement. Some of it might be because they want a new career. And by the way, nothing is wrong with starting over, even at 50.
Correct.
I know usually around 50, um, you have about what, 10, 15, 17 more years until retirement. But regardless, like, if you want to, there's, first of all, you don't have to retire at that age. You could continue working. Though I do believe that, there should be still room made for the younger people to come into the workforce, because what happens is when you have people that are super old or older, I don't want to say old, but older people just staying in the job. There are some people that have been in the job for 15, 20 years and refuse to leave, and then there's so many young people that are now trying to branch into the workforce and need to have a position, and these people refuse to leave. There's a whole different topic, right? But however, there are some people that want a brand new career, and even at 50, I would say go for it. Because first of all, it's a brand new career. It's not like you've been in the field for like, it's not like you've been working in this thing for like a whole long time. You're trying to branch into something new. But that's another reason. And then for some people, they just choose to go back and study a new topic because they just want to learn something new, as Tony mentioned, or it's just a way to keep their minds occupied. Because when you get a certain age, and especially when you're approaching retirement age, you want to be able to keep your mind going. It might be a new interest, might be photography, it might be a new language, it might be music, something like that. It might not be like something super in depth like psychology or nursing or whatever, mathematician, whatever. It might be something that is late, but that you could feel fulfilled. Um, so there are several different reasons why people choose to go back to school at a later age, whether it is 20, 30, 40, 50, and so on. You're at a certain age, you become a mature student. And believe it or not, there's so many mature students in school. I was one. I just finished my degree, and I went to school, university as a mature student. So you talked about the head being hard, the head being hard. Honestly, there's some subjects that I've always been great at, like the social sciences, and then there are other subjects I felt like pulling out my hair, like statistics. I still don't know how I passed statistics. It's crazy.
Praise God.
All God, but but you get the assistance, you get help where you know and to be honest, it's not just a case where it's just people by themselves and people by themselves. Actually, in college and university, everybody merged. I remember when I was going to college, I was 21 when I went to college, and I had a lot of older friends. I had friends that were 40 something. At the time I was 21 or 22, and I had friends that were 40 something. I had friends that were 50 something. It's not like you're just alone and by yourself. Don't let that discourage you thinking, oh, but it's a lot of young people and they probably gonna be one of the few older people. No,
And sorry.
the joke is that a lot of older people go to school. A lot of mature people go to school. So you're not gonna be by yourself.
But I wanted to say too, no, Shanita said about being around the older folks saying, oh, but all these young people, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you, when I went to college back home, I probably was one of the youngest in my class because I started at 19, and we had people in our class who was 29, some were 32, some were 42. I think there was this one lady, she never told us her age, but we had a mind she would have had to be about 50. Yeah, and all of us gravitated towards each other. We became a family. And yes, everybody had their little cliques, but you'll find that the younger folks more cling to the older folks more than their own age. Like all of us would have been when I was in college, majority of the people I was with was older than me. One girl at one point, me and her, I was actually older than her, but she was in our group or whatever, but then she branched off with other people. And other than that, we were all together and everybody was able to talk. We were able to be open with one another, and we would share certain things with each other, and the older people would try to give the younger people guidance. I didn't like at times how they did it, but now that I am now older and more mature, I now see where they were coming from and stuff like that. So it don't matter because you become motherly to some of these students too. Some students don't have parents to guide them, to tell them certain things or whatever. So when you have that you have that mature student, they become like your adopted parent, or they come to you for advice or whatever. So don't let age stop you from going back to school. I told my mother this time and time again, if you go back to school, you gonna got so much young friends, you gonna done with we as your children. You understand? So I mean, at the end of the day, don't let age stop you. Don't let it.
Yeah. So what was I gonna say? I lost my thought too. But Tony said something right. What she said just now is a very big point because that's the next thing. Like, as a mature student, you tend to bring experiences that the younger students don't have. Because for a lot of younger students in university and college, um, they've come straight from high school and went to college, or straight from high school and went to university. So they didn't even have the work experience. They didn't really have the family experience. They didn't have, the life experience. And as a mature student, now you could kind of help to guide them, you know, um, and even tell them of your own experiences, something that they can gain wisdom from. And then not only that, but also even within school work, each person brings a different perspective to whatever they're studying. So each person have their own can bring their own viewpoint to a subject or topic, and it might not be something that the others would have thought about, and that would have been your what's the word I'm looking for? your thing, the thing that you put towards whatever it is that you're doing, even within group projects or within assignments, right? And that's why a lot of professors tend to like when they have a classroom of diversity. When I said with older and younger people, because it brings so much different. It brings a different
Perspectives.
life into the classroom
Mm-hmm.
than just everybody being a
Blank.
young person
Mm-hmm.
coming out from high school.
And blank.
Yeah.
Because, to be honest, when I was in college, we would hear stories from our classmates about what they did in nursing, because some of them were nursing assistants, some of them were
Mhm.
health aides,
Mhm.
some of them were EMTs,
Mhm.
right? So they will be able now to bring
The
experience,
life.
bring the class to life now and say, well, okay, I dealt with this patient, I dealt with the next patient. So that when now we enter the workforce in clinicals, then we would be able to say, okay, well, I dealt with this patient here, and so would have said that they dealt with a similar patient. Let me ask them what they would have done before or whatever. You understand? So, yeah.
And then when we talk about the challenges, Tony mentioned the challenges in the classroom. But the challenges, there's a lot of challenges too that you can face outside of the classroom when you're dealing with school. Because as an older person, especially somebody that's 50, well, by 50 you might have grown children by then, but just even past the age of 50, even talking about somebody that's in their 20s, like middle to late 20s or 30s or whatever, you might have challenges such as family life. You might have a husband, you might have a common law partner, you might have children,
Mm-hmm.
or you might even have newborn babies, right? And you have to navigate school life with raising a family or being in a relationship, because now it's not just about you. And you also, whatever you do, it has to merge together. Everybody have to be on one page. So it might be that your partner is working at this time and school is this time. You might have to choose between going to part-time school or full-time school. Maybe your partner can't afford to um like handle all the finances and you can go to school full time or whatever. Or maybe you might have to work part time in order to help with the finances and still go to school part time. Like it's a lot of different things, and as I said, with finances as well as the next thing, because you have to, the budgeting has to be on point because school is expensive, right? And then not everybody has scholarships, and not everybody has like what Canada has called OSAP, where you get a mixture of
So,
grants from the government and loans also from who, the government or whatever, right? So or whoever else the loans are
bursaries
coming
from
from,
other people or
right?
whatever.
So now you have to look at can I afford it right now? Can I can I like like whatever the financial situation is, you gotta sit down and really think about it, because you don't want a situation where you start school and in the middle of school you have to stop because of this reason or that. If it's a necessity, sure, but you kind of want to plan it out before you actually make that step. And then also another thing is, I was thinking about something else too, but you could continue while I think about it.
No, yeah, Shanita made some valid points because I remember too, my one of my colleagues, she would have gotten married while we were in college, and sometimes I couldn't call her at a specific time. We would have to study like around 10 o'clock, and she had to spend time with her husband between maybe 8 and 10 till like whenever he goes to bed. So they would choose to do what they wanted to do at that time. So at the end of the day, there must be some form of balance
Mhm.
with home versus school, because you ain't gonna want to take to school home and home to school, right? So I mean, there must be a balance. There must be a way that you could get stuff done. And then too, you need to make sure that you have a partner who is understanding, because there will be assignments, there will be group projects, there will be group meetings. So it's like, let them know, just correspond with them and let them know, look, I can't do tonight. I have X to do, Y to do, but still be about just do balancing, a lot more balancing. And I think life on a whole is a
It's a balance,
balance.
yeah.
Life is on a whole is a balance, because When I used to work, sometimes my sister would want me to do X, Y, and Z. I was tired at certain points, but at the same time, I don't want to lose my social life too. And likewise, she's working and she might be tired too, but there must be some form of balance going on. As tired as you are, still try to do what you have to do. You might not want to overdo it, but you gotta do what you have to do. So yeah, balancing. I think balancing is a key, probably the key challenge to this question. But I think this goes for every single person.
Yeah, because as Tony speaks about balance, even for me personally, like I've been throughout my school life, um, I've literally had several different things that has happened throughout my school life, including, becoming a citizen, and then, even going through a divorce, or being sick. Being sick was the longest period for me because I was sick for about 7 years with endometriosis. And then also working. I was also working as well and going to school. So it is not impossible to do, but balance, that word balance is a very strong word because you have to learn how to balance everything. I would not say, oh, because some people feel that you have to put off school because you're doing something else, and that is not necessary. You just have to know how to do what you have to do at whatever times you have studying. You gotta know how you're gonna study. Obviously, if you're working and studying at the same time, you have to work your hours. You have to work, but you also have to study too. Maybe you could study during break times, or maybe you could study during the nighttime period or whatever. And then you have family life. Like Tony said, you have to have conversations because. But even when I was studying, there were times when I wouldn't even have the time to talk to my family. It was just like in the butts, like crazy. So that's where the understanding comes in that, okay, this is for a period of time, and yeah, maybe you can spend time on the weekends or whatever. As Tony said, everything in life is literally a balance. So I would not discourage anybody that's older from going to school at 52. Like, you might not have as much responsibilities because, like I said, you might be more so now heading into that retirement stage. um, who knows? You might even be retired already, and you might just be wanting to do something brand new. So, absolutely go for it, regardless of your age. As long as you're alive, you can learn and you can choose to go to school as long as you have figured out everything. I think the biggest thing when I say figure out everything, make sure you have it mapped out how you're gonna, do whatever you have to do, whether it's family life, work, whatever. Finances is a big one in order then to make that transition into school life as well.
Yes. So thank you very much for listening to our video. You can let us know what you think about what we would have spoken about. Remember, no answer. What do teachers is saying? No,
No answer is a wrong answer.
there we go. That. So please continue to like,
Share.
and subscribe. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.